Hello everyone, I'm Greg Otta with FedScoop TV, and we're here at the Mobile Gov Summit today, and I'm talking with Joe Paiva, the CIO of the International Trade Administration. Joe, thanks for joining us today.
No problem.
So talk to me about the most pressing issues that you see when it comes to mobility in the government workforce.
I think the biggest issue today is this discrepancy between how we treat mobile devices and how we treat other end user devices. We're at a point in history where for some reason we find it necessary to completely lock down our desktops, but then we send out our mobile devices with no security on them, or very minimal.
Okay.
And I think both are the wrong approach. I think we need to find a middle ground for how we secure not the device, but the information that the device processes. And I think we have to do that in an appropriate way that maintains the usability of the device. These schemes where we put all the applications in a single container, if you will, on the device, makes it impossible to use commercial software as a service applications in a meaningful way, and kind of kills the value proposition brought by the mobile device in the first place. So I think we have to find a better way to do our security such that the device is still usable.
So talking about security a little bit more, how do you as a CIO balance security risks and being able to innovate with mobile devices?
Yeah, so I think there's a couple answers to that, but the first and foremost is I think federal government isn't in the business of innovation. I think federal government should take advantage of the innovations that come out of private industry.
Okay.
So I think where we have to be at is starting to watch commercial industry and make better use of the types of things that they do. So for instance, we're using Salesforce, and
okay.
Salesforce has the Salesforce One application.
Right.
We use Office 365,
okay.
and now Microsoft has the mobile apps for Office 365. I think as opposed to going out and creating containers and putting all these weird things in them, we just need to go with industry and just use their mobile applications.
Okay, so talking a little bit, within industry and commercial enterprise, it's a little bit further along than government is. So do you think the answers going forward are more based in policy, or do you think it's in the technology that is already out there?
I think it's both, and at a higher level the strategy. So
okay.
Currently, most of the federal government has a very antiquated security strategy. They rely on having a government managed network, and they then try to secure all the endpoints and treat everything inside the network like it's trusted.
Okay.
And then eventually and ultimately when an endpoint gets compromised, the whole network folds up and bad guys move laterally all over the network. That model has never worked. It hasn't worked since the Germans invented the Blitzkrieg, right? So the model we need to go to is one where we accept that we don't have a network. So think
okay.
about an LTE mobile device, right? You don't own the network. So why is it okay you have mobile devices out there that don't own the network, but back here you still own a network? And then people talk about, I'm going to open up my firewall and allow the mobile device into my network. Well, it's the completely wrong attitude, right? Instead of trying to secure the mobile device and decide which mobile device to allow into your network, just don't have a network. So I think if we get to the point where we say, okay, so we have devices and we don't trust any of them.
Okay.
We have applications that we trust. And so what we do is, and we don't want to secure the mobile device and we don't want to secure the network, we have information that we want to make secure. So I think if we reimagine the network or reimagine our infrastructure such that instead of running a network, I just rely on LTE from Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, Vodafone, whoever, and that is the network. The internet is my network. I assume the device is or may be compromised, if not at the OS level, certainly at the BIOS level, right, at the chip level. So once you make those assumptions, then you start taking approaches like saying, so what is the information I really have to secure, and where do I keep it? And that's what drives you to kind of a true cloud strategy that says, you know what, I'm going to put my information in software as a service provider infrastructure where I can rely on world-class people who dedicate their whole lives, all of their energies, all of their investment. So imagine Microsoft's situation if someone compromises Office 365. Oracle's, if someone compromises Oracle Cloud, Salesforce, right? There is no way the U.S. government, no agency in the U.S. government is going to put as much time, energy, intellectual capital, or know-how behind securing our networks as those companies are behind securing those applications, those software as a service services. So let's use those services. So now, if my data, the information I'm really trying to secure, is sitting in that service, then I'm using that to secure it. And now if I assume the network is vulnerable and I assume the device is vulnerable, then the real equation becomes, how do I secure just the information as it traverses that vulnerable network and is displayed on that device? Now you have a whole different model. Instead of running around spending billions of dollars trying to secure a device that can never be secured, you start focusing on building mobile apps that actually use encryption and use tunneling to just display minimal information, and use RESTful web services so that even if the device is compromised, the amount of information that the person with the device can get to is minimized to what they can get through a single RESTful web service call, right?
Right.
Because you don't actually have the ability to move laterally from that device into Oracle's cloud or Microsoft's cloud or Amazon's cloud, right? Because you're stuck on the device.
So you were talking about building apps. Is there something out there right now that you see that is, like, for government, a really killer app, a really killer capability that is helping government truly embrace this sort of mobile standpoint that's coming into government?
Absolutely. I'm not allowed to invest in IT, but if I could, cloud encryption gateways are the killer app for the government and cloud.
Okay.
And I don't know if you're familiar, but cloud encryption gateways basically give you the capacity to say, okay, I've now said that I think all these big service providers, whether it's Google, Microsoft, Salesforce, ServiceNow, I think they all do a great job of securing their infrastructure. But you know what? I still am not going to trust them. So now I have a cloud encryption gateway. So when my users actually go to work on Office 365, what I've done is I'm going into a cloud encryption gateway, and I'm deciding which information really needs to be secure, and I'm actually encrypting it. So now, even Microsoft doesn't have access to my information. So if Microsoft is compromised, I don't care, because the information I'm storing there is actually still secure yet again by this varying levels of encryption, some better, some worse than FIPS 140-2, right? And I get to vary the encryption based on usability and how important that particular information really is. I think that is absolutely the killer app that allows people, not just government, but really big enterprises, to move confidently to the cloud, because now I can trust those software as a service providers to do what they do best, which is provide that software as a service, but not actually give them the keys to the kingdom.
All right, amateur VCs, open up your checkbook, cloud encryption gateways. Joe, thanks for taking some time out to talk with us today.
All right, thanks for having me.
For all of our videos, you can check out our YouTube channel, and for more information, you can check out FedScoop.com. I'm Greg Otto. Thanks for watching.